Okay, this is the 2021 paper 2 question 2 on your factor theorem, right? And here they tell you show that x equals to -1 is a solution to this entire equation. Well, all we need to do is to just substitute in a suitable value of x in which they have told us essentially what to sub in. So when x equals to -1, what we are supposed to prove is that indeed it will equals to 0, because when it equals to 0, it will tell us that it is a factor. So what we need to do is to substitute all our x values to -1, right? And we need to simplify this expression to tell us that this is -3, this is +4, this is +1, and this is -2. This indeed is equals to 0. And therefore, we can conclude that x equals to -1 is a solution to the cubic equation. Okay, so this is how you show it. And now they tell you, hence, solve the equation completely. Well, over here, what you need to do is you can either do your long division method, or you can do your comparing coefficients method, of which I prefer to do comparing coefficients, because we know that x equals to -1. When you make it as a factor, it is x plus 1. So essentially, we divided it by x plus 1. And in our quotient over here, we will be expecting a ax squared plus bx plus c, right? But here, we can actually guess our a value, because our a value is essentially just 3, because we need the cube to appear. And the only way that the cube will appear is that our coefficient of our x squared be 3. Okay, once we have that out of the way, all we need to find is our b and our c value, of which our b and the c value, we can just compare our coefficients, right? When we are comparing the coefficients, we just pick up the corresponding x or x squared or x to the power of 0 values that we want to find. In this case, it's very easy to find your c value first, because why? On the left hand side, for x to the power of 0 values, we have it to just be -2. And on our right hand side, the only way we're going to get a value is for 1 to multiply with c. So when 1 multiplied by c, all we get is c. So therefore, we can say that c equals to -2. And now that we have c equals to -2, we also need to find our b value, right? For our b value, I'm going to take a look at my -x over here. So I'm looking at x to the power of 1. For my x to the power of 1, on my left hand side, my coefficient is -1. And on my right hand side, right, when I multiply my values in, I'm going to get x times c, which I just get it to be -2x, right? So I'm just going to write -2. And at the same time, I have 1 times b, or 1 times bx. So essentially, I just get plus b, right? Because 1 times b is b. So essentially, I get b. And when I solve for my b, I will get my b to be equals to +1, right? Because I move the -2 over, it becomes positive, so +1. And just like that, I have my cubic equation factorized to become x plus 1, 3x squared plus x minus 2. And we can further factorize this using our quadratic factorization. Right, so you can press your calculator again, 3, 1, and then -2. We get this to be 3x minus 2 and x plus 1. From here, the question wants you to solve the equation, and hence we would equate all of this: x plus 1, 3x minus 2, x plus 1 to equals to 0. And here we can conclude that x equals to -1, x equals to 2 over 3, or that x equals to -1. And turns out we have two -1s, right? Two -1s. So we only need to tell them that, oh, x either equals to -1 or that x equals to 2 over 3, because these two are the same. These two are the same solution. Okay, so you only have two answers over here. And this is how you do this factor theorem question. So just a very quick recap. First part, to show that x minus 1 is a solution, we need to show that when we sub it in, it indeed equals to 0, right? So in this case, you will have to write it in an expression style, right? Not an equation style. If you write an equation style, you'll get penalized over here. Then next, after we have shown that it is a factor, you have two choices. You can either do your factor theorem or you can do your long division. Both are okay, but I prefer factor theorem because you need to know this comparing coefficient skill, right? So you compare the coefficients accordingly, you find out what is your quadratic equation that you are left with. After you have your quadratic equation, you can just simply solve it like so, right? So this is how you do question 2.